that worries me the most, Jordan, is I'm seeing the same issues that I've seen in previous years. And a lot of these issues seem to like to rear their ugly head and reoccur when we play teams from outside the ACC conference, especially Power 5 teams outside the ACC conference.
Yep.
And just to see the mental lapse, the undisciplined defense, the undisciplined offense on the offensive line especially, just to see that coming into another season when we had a golden opportunity to play the number one team in the nation with a brand new quarterback, with some new pieces themselves, and to really make some noise, to really show the college football world that we're gonna be here and Miami's gonna make a comeback, and we simply didn't make that happen, Jordan.
Yeah, it's frustrating, man. Like I still feel like it's a little bit early to jump on Manny Diaz and have that discussion, right? But I said this on Twitter during the game. Like, in a vacuum, this game is fine, right? It's Alabama. They have the best talent. They have the best coaching. I mean, they have 3 NFL head coaches on their staff. We have 0. So that in itself isn't exactly what bugs me, but it's the established pattern under Manny Diaz and his staff. It's the established pattern that we do not show up prepared, that we do not even look like we belong. We're not competitive at all in these type of games. We saw it last year with UNC and Clemson. So that's making me feel a little bit down about this. I'm still predicting that we will have a fairly good season, 9-3, 10-2 in the regular season. But this game to me is about projecting where our glass ceiling is as a program under Manny Diaz. And I think it's pretty apparent that we're not going to be a blue chip program with this staff right now. At least that's the way I'm feeling. Maybe they can prove me wrong. Everything is factual until it's not anymore. So I'm open to that, but it's just starting to feel that way, man.
The repetitive issues, and I think that's what starts to beat us down. If these were issues that we hadn't experienced before, or, something that maybe we felt was only temporary, we could feel a different way about it. But we're seeing issues that we're not sure we're going to be able to truly fix. We don't know if this staff can truly fix it or not. And I'll tell you what, Jordan, with the addition of T-Rob in the secondary, I was hoping to see a lot more of an updated coverage attack for the spread offense. I didn't see much of a difference, man. I saw some slight differences, but I didn't see enough.
Yeah, it was tough, man. Like it's kind of, there's a lot of personnel problems that this roster has that, I don't profess to be the smartest X's and O's guy out there. But to me, when I watch the fact that the O-line can't protect anybody, then it's like, well, then how do you assess De'Aaron King? How do you assess the passing game? How do you assess the running backs, right? If you're getting defensive tackles in your face from rip, then like how do you actually assess what's going on when all you see is that the offense is really worth the salt against good teams? And then that's the same when it comes to the linebackers and defensive tackles on run defense. It's like Alabama can run as much as they want. We can't get pressure, and so Bryce Young has all day to throw. So how can you honestly assess what the defensive backs are doing? And there's smarter people out there than me that can answer that. That's just what I was seeing.
It's the ultimate team sport, Jordan. Where one guy slacks off a little bit, it affects everybody. It truly does. If a corner plays press and he gets burned and the safety's not over the top, it's that kind of stuff. I have a tough time digging into Lashley hardcore yet because of the offensive line. I'm not sure he even has the confidence himself to want to be the play caller that we know we can be. I mean, we've seen the play calling that he can do. We've seen him dial up some incredible stuff. But on a consistent basis, having to be worried about an offensive line maybe makes him feel really iffy about really dialing things up for us.
Yeah, man. It was a rough game for Rhett Lashley. I kind of talked about this, a few days ago. Marsh and I had John Michaels on the Fours Up podcast, and one of the things that the consensus from us three was that Miami cannot afford to come out conservative. That establishing the run or committing to establishing the run could be a fatal mistake that we make in this game, and that's exactly what we did coming out. I not for one moment believed in our run defense in this matchup. So I thought trying to be methodical and patient in our game plan would be a disaster, right? Because Alabama was going to be able to come out and put up points on almost every drive, which is what we saw in the first half. And it was about whether we were going to be able to match it. And, running the ball on first and second down or calling draw plays on 3rd and 7, it's not going to get it done, man. And especially because our offense is going to be what carries us this year. Like, we're going to be able to win shootouts because that's where our talent is. We have some serious personnel issues on defense, man. So I'm just frustrated with the game plan.
It's frustrating as heck because we know that we've got players that can perform better than Jordan. We know that we've got athletes that can be utilized better than what we're utilizing them at. And, to see, I guess, one of the main things, I guess, that really bugged me still was the lack of the deep game, the consistent kind of threat of a deep pass.
Yep.
We saw how much that opened up the run game for us previously in this last season when it was clicking at times. We saw how wide the lanes got.
Yep.
When Bama was allowed to just kind of play one-on-one and say, Saban could go man for a man, eye for an eye. Manny Diaz, prove that you can beat me. Lashley, prove you can beat me. He didn't have to get fancy. He didn't have to do anything wild. So it kind of, in an essence, it made it tougher on us by allowing them to stay simple.